We ended, I should say, with the conversation about the Lakers, who ended up getting that win in overtime over the Knicks yesterday. Obviously, Brunson goes down. You hate to see that. You want to beat somebody at their best, and obviously not have stuff like that happen. That was tough to see. They win 113-109 in overtime for the Lakers. But the larger conversation to me is what you're saying. In honor of Rob not being here, I'll hit him with are they fugazi? Are they filet? Or bologna, and right now, to me, they're at least some lamb chops.
At least
some lamb chops. If you don't want to go full, $200-something filet, they're at least some really good seasoned up lamb chops. And what I mean by that is, you got a couple of things to consider here, Kerry. One, they have been playing well prior to Luka.
Yes.
They started to get some things going, started to figure things out. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then Austin Reeves, that was playing best basketball of his career.
Yep. Boom,
you land Luka. And so everybody goes, well, including me. I sat up on these airwaves, and I said, boy, they might be the Ole-kers. Like, they just letting people get all the way to the hole. Ole!
Yeah.
Because LeBron at that point hadn't really locked back in defensively. We know Luka has never been a defensive stalwart. Mm-hmm. And at that point, Vanderbilt wasn't fully back yet, so you're wondering, and Finney-Smith was getting acclimated. So you start to, I don't know, defensively. Well, Kerry, you ask about defensively, I'll tell you. The team everybody always keeps saying is the best defensively, and, man, they're active, and they do that best defensive efficiency, and they are amazing defensively. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Yeah. Young guys scrapping and going at it. SGA is great. Dort's great. Their defensive rating is 110.8. In the last 15 games. You know what the Lakers is?
You said theirs is 110? I would say Lakers is 102.
Not that great.
Okay.
But 107.6, which is the best in the West right now. Mm-hmm. So you're starting to see them play better defense that you haven't seen them play in quite some time. You start to see what they're doing, holding teams. I think no team had been over 102 points in a handful of games up until the other night, yesterday. And you're seeing an active LeBron. You saw him guard some bigs the last few games because, Kerry, he has the legs to do so.
A lesser
workload offensively. He has to create for everybody. Got to bring the ball up. Got to set this guy. Got to control the tempo. LeBron can come out. He can get his minutes when he needs it, get some win, and then he can kind of find his angles offensively, but also defensively. He can kind of go hard and burst, right? He can't do it for 35 minutes. No, he cannot do that. It's not even fair to ask a 40-something-year-old to do that with all those miles. And by the way, he's got like an extra 4 seasons with all those playoff years.
A lot, yes.
But what he can do is give it to you better than he could prior to Luka, right? Mm-hmm. Prior to Vanderbilt getting back. Mm-hmm. And prior to got to give J.J. Redick some credit.
Yep.
Prior to them starting to lock in and buy. And you heard even LeBron talk about it yesterday. He said we weren't hitting the long ball. The shots weren't falling. So we had to rely on our defense. And then towards the end, you start to see LeBron hit some threes. Luka hit some big threes. Gabe Vincent hit some big threes for them.
Gabe's playing well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to me, I'm looking at this team and I'm saying, okay, are they ideal? No. Meaning, would you rather have another big or two or another guy who just all I want to do is lock somebody up? Mm-hmm. Yes. But they don't have that right now. But the bigs don't big like they used to, Kerry.
Not all of
David
them, no.
Robinson, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Alonzo Mourning, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber, Tim Duncan. This isn't those eras, the 90s and 2000s anymore. Mm-hmm. Outside of Jokic in the West, who are you worried about size-wise? That'll actually be in the postseason.
Nobody.
The Warriors play very small.
They play small.
Oklahoma City, like I said, Chet's tall, but he's not necessarily big. Mm-hmm. Hartenstein, I don't really think you're worried about him, and he'll crash the offensive board, and they'll have some games where the Lakers, you'll be upset they let the other team get some offensive boards.
Right.
But it's not like again this was previously when you had these big, real, true bigs. Mm-hmm. David Robinson and Tim Duncan on the same team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. We're like, I don't know what we're gonna do tonight. You're not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So I look at this team. They're moving the ball. Their guys are getting shots. Gabe Vincent's coming around.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's like a team outside of OKC, obviously, who's played incredibly well, that you would fear if you're the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that. I attribute that to a couple of things. The West, as competitive as it is, there's not one team that stands out outside of OKC. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers are gaining steam. So obviously they are hot right now, and you have to give them credit. When you talk about their play defensively, I correlate it to a couple of things, right? Yes, the scheme has been good, and obviously the guys are playing hard. But it's more about their pace, the lack of pace. They used to play really fast.
Yeah.
They're running a lot more offense. And so I know you know this as a basketball player. When you run good offense, it helps your defense.
Without a doubt.
And
Great point.
And that's the part where you talk about their defense and what they're doing. Yes, actively they're more active. And you get length on the outside with Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt on the wing. So they can play most of those guys. They can play bigs too.
Yeah.
And so the way that teams are playing, the matchup obviously is Denver when they play
That's
Denver,
the one. Yeah,
which is the one that's going to scare them. But also OKC because they spread everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And so even, Jackson Hayes can block shots. He's athletic. He's going to be out of the lane. And so who's going to stay in front of SGA a whole series on
Nobody.
that team? And that's the point. So,
but put him in for 30 and put Luka in for 30.
I hear you. It's washing. You're saying it's washing.
What's a wash? By the way,
Man.
SGA is so good.
He's good.
You know why I like him too, Kerry? A throwback in that he'll shoot the three if it's there.
Yeah,
but
he
man, he
range.
just wants to get in the paint or hit the elbow jumpers, a la Kobe, a la Jordan, a la the guy Kawhi at his peak.
Yes.
Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce. Like if it's there, I'm gonna shoot it. Of course, this is what we do. But in there, post up a little guard. I love watching the variety. You know what I mean? Not just guys just shooting three. I love seeing the mixed up of his game. SGA is fun to watch, man.
Yeah, no, he is. And we talk about still back to the Lakers though, and that's the thing, right? You get into a series, you get into a matchup where the size is going to play a factor, which can be with Denver.
Yeah.
And the other one, like I said, the other way around with OKC, the fact that they have that 5 out and SGA can be the quintessential quote unquote post player in that series.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop that matchup? And so you break it down that way, it gets interesting.
The only other thing, and I said this with Vinny Goodwill, but he didn't like it. I'm telling you, man, these are two unusual guys to be on the team. Not two really good players. We've seen Shaq and Kobe. You've seen, like I said, if you want to go Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, they had a whole team. But just we've seen duos, Stockton and Malone, and more recent, KD and Steph. Just we've not seen two guys who are so cerebral.
Yeah.
Who can create. The best part about their game is maybe they're passing.
Yeah.
But then they're also like top all-time scorers in Luka and LeBron. And this will be interesting to see when as you know, the postseason gets tighter, possessions get tighter, and each one matters more. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy concept that either the ball is in LeBron's hand or Luka's hands. That's kind of a crazy concept.
It better be in Luka's hand.
5 minutes left.
It better be in Luka's hand. And I'm telling you why.
Okay.
I've seen him carry a team by himself. Obviously, he got Kyrie last year, which is different. But the 2 years before that, he took a team that had Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah.
Who else was on that? I can't even remember.
That's the point.
I can't even remember.
That's the point.
And he took him to the Western Conference Finals. So, in the clutch, we know what Luka can do. And LeBron too, but Luka now.
But that's the best part is because really, since he's gotten here, the real clutch guy has been LeBron.
Yeah.
And, kind of the closer because he's fresher.
Yeah.
And I still think the scary part is if Luka actually keeps getting his legs back and gets in better shape and gets acclimated more.
And wants to be there.
He does want to be there.
No.
You're saying still the hurt from Dallas.
That's all I mean.
Yeah.
That's all I mean.
That's a real thing. He was legitimately hurt because he wasn't complaining or we heard rumors. It was out the blue.
It was out the blue, man.
All right, let's take some phone calls on this. 877-99 on Fox, 877-99 on Fox. Listen, the Lakers, let me pull this up because Kerry wants to talk. This is for you, Kerry.
Let's hear it.
Shay, the Lakers are 20-8 since New Year's Eve. Okay, Brandon, I know he's happy to hear that too. He's ready the Lakers to be playing the Celtics in the finals. Look at him, right? Look at the joy on his face. Oh, he ain't that. Only time I ever seen him that happy is if they say protein is on half off right now.